Oh, I didn't see you there. Happy New Year, guys. 2024. Bringing back the vlog. I was just working on some of my ohms in my new fancy bathrobe, and I'm excited for what's to come. So let's talk a little bit about 2023 in terms of myself, because it was a great year, especially stepping into the heavyweight, heading into the open class. Competed 4 times, 2 internationally, 2 wins, and then made the finals of the 2 of the most premier amateur shows. So the reason why I call this the end, but also the beginning, is because it's the end of my road to heavyweight, because I've now become a heavyweight. I'm no longer a oversized 105. I have made the heavyweight, and I made the splash, and I'm probably officially in the B team when you talk about the heavyweight opens. When we talk about the B team is probably a phrase coined by some of the Canadian strongmen like Jeffers and Joey Lavallee, those guys that are on the fringe of making it to the big shows, but are just right on the cusp of breaking into it. So you got to get to somewhere. So I'm glad I could be somewhere. And right now, the B team is my home. So now I've entered the second year of my 3-year journey in order to achieve the status of becoming one of the top heavyweights in the picture, or in the scene out there today. And now that I'm in my second year, I still want to be able to potentially get into those top shows. I think on my goal board I have potentially get to World's Strongest Man, get to a Giants Live show, get to a SEL show. But sometimes things don't quite work out the way you want it to, and you still got to put in the work. Even though we talk about goal setting, what's a realistic goal for yourself? What's a high goal that you should strive for? You still need to find those achievable, attainable goals in order to get yourself where you want to be. Regardless, looking back at 2023, of course, my skill was right on par with a lot of the other guys, but I just didn't have that motor. I didn't have that engine to keep up with some of those heavyweights, especially the contests like the Arnold Amateur and OSG. I would start off hot, and then I would start to kind of dwindle away when the event started kind of wearing on me. Some of those guys are a little bigger. They can kind of take on those big loads and keep moving forward. So I just had to keep building that bigger motor. What's that going to look like? The first goal I have is achieving a 295, maybe 297, 135 kilo body weight. I try to think of a kind of like a light Oleksii Novikov or a light Derek Poundstone. At their lightest, they're around 295, 297. So that's kind of a goal that I have by the end of next year, or end of this year, I should say, now that we're in 2024, that I want to achieve that 295 body weight. I finished 2023 around 285, which was about a 30-pound increase from the year before. I ended 2022 when I got hurt right before the OSG 2022 around 255. So since then, it was pretty much the start of my heavyweight journey. So I gained 30 pounds the first year. So I feel that 10-pound increase in 1 year is much more doable. That's almost less than a pound a month. So I think right now I can start concentrating on putting on good lean body mass, and also continue to kind of get a little leaner. The first part of my journey, I was very chunky, but as the year progressed, I got a little leaner. So I got up to 285 really fast, and then kind of plateaued, recomped, and leaned out. So this time around, I feel that I can put on another 10 pounds, but hopefully it's more concentrated, lean muscle tissue. Another goal of mine is to kind of get back to a little bit of the basics and kind of what I love to do, especially in the world of strongman, which is max press events. This past year, I only had one opportunity to do a max press event, which was at Arnold, Spain, and that was on the second day after the main show. When we showed up to the Arnold, Spain, the log ended up being 11 inches, so it was a little funky. I ended up doing the max show. I only had to do 160 kilos to win the max log show. I ended up doing 170, and then kind of capped it right there, especially because that was the second day I was competing. But going forward, I'm hoping to pick out shows that have a max press, especially a max log. One of my favorite things to do. So one of my goals that I have this year, especially if I want to coin myself as the press specialist, the tsunami specialist, the overhead specialist, pressing people, object, implements, and all, I want to hit a 200 kilo, 440 pound log, and that's my goal. So I'm invested in myself, so I bought another log. I'm buying a Slater log, but not just any Slater. I'm going for the 8-footer, the Pro Series package. I want the same log that they use at the Rogue, at World's Strongest Man, at Giants Live, and other big shows. So if you want to do what the pros do, you got to work what the pros have. So put in some big investment into myself, so that 200 kilo log is coming. Another goal of mine for 2024 is to kind of continue this path. I want to compete often. So my goal is to compete in at least 6 competitions this year. And I would say probably I'm doing a team competition this coming Saturday. I wouldn't count that towards the total. I want to do 6 individual legit competitions. Still figuring out the schedule. I'm talking to the powers that be across all the different federations. There's not a lot of scheduling out yet, but I'm hoping there'll be some more for some different competitions. But there's some great competitions this year coming out. So of course the introduction of like the Giants Live North American Championship. That's a huge addition to the American scene. But of course, contests like the Rainier Classic, which is a qualifier for North America's Strongest Man. There's the Las Vegas Invitational. I even see overseas there's a competition called the Exotic Games. I believe that's the name. That's over in Singapore. So seeing some new competitions coming out, and also looks like for weight class athletes, there's some new league coming out as well. So big things in 2024 for the world of strongman. So it's only 3 days into the new year, so we'll see what other competitions come about. But my goal is to do 6 competitions. I can tell you right now, one of them will probably be returning to Italy to defend the title of Italy's Strongest Man, and then the other one. When I won the Arnold Europe, I qualified for the Magnus for Magnuson Classic. Unfortunately, I couldn't go due to a commitment I have for a wedding. So Magnus promised that he may not be able to get me to the MBM next year. I might have to re-earn it, but he'll get me to Iceland next year. So I'm waiting to hear from Magnus in terms of what that Icelandic show would be. Hopefully Iceland in the summer. I know Iceland in the winter is also cool. See, of course, the Aurora Borealis and of course the Great Lights, but Iceland in the summer probably sounds more up my alley, and Boston to Iceland is not too far away. So those are probably the only 2 that I have on schedule right now. And as more competitions come about, people get injured. Sometimes people need to fill in. Maybe they need a B team member to fill in for some of those big shows. So I'm gonna keep my body ready. But regardless, I still need to get up to 295. I still want to get that big press, but I also I want to get back to my split jerk. It's kind of went dormant. I've been really working on that push press, but usually even in the peak of my split jerking as 105 kilo, whatever I could push press, I could split jerk about 40 pounds more. So in theory, I feel like I have a 200 kilo log in me, but I also want to chase a 500 pound jerk from the front rack off of blocks. I hit 450 back in 2020 as a 231, and I haven't tested jerks off the block since. Usually I'm going to need a contest to really push me to that kind of number, but maybe that's a good off-season goal. Maybe after I do a lot of my front squat series, my posterior chain series, when it comes to that total off-season build, I need to posterior chain is usually an area that I need to focus on, as I'm normally pretty quad dominant. So once I have a lot of those kind of building blocks in place, maybe I'll go for the big jerk. We'll see. But I need to get that split jerk up and running. So those are some of my goals going into 2024. I feel those are very attainable, and they'll lead to my overall goal in terms of becoming that top heavyweight open class competitor. But what are some of your goals? What have you done in the past in terms of setting obtainable goals in order to achieve bigger goals? Leave them in the comments. I'm still I'm growing my YouTube channel. I'm still pushing it out, trying to do more content. The next podcast will be with Marcus Crowder, who's going to talk about all things Marcus Crowder. So you guys better tune in because it's Marcus Crowder. But in terms of what to expect next, so I was mentioning a little before, so I'm doing the team competition. So it's America's Strongest State Northeast Regional in Webster, Massachusetts. So Massachusetts competing against Team Rhode Island and also Team New York this Saturday, January 6th. So each team has 6 members, two heavyweight men, 105, 190 kilo, and 2 women across 6 events. So there's across the 6 events, I'm of course doing the max logs. Surprise, surprise. So I don't think 200 kilos is going to be there, but I'm looking to hit maybe a new push press PR. So that's the main goal for this weekend. And then from there, I will be going to the Arnold. This is probably the first year I'm not going to compete at the Arnold, but I'll be there watching, spectating, working a few booths, networking, and saying hello to all my friends from across the years as I've entered my 13th season of Strongman. So if you're going to the Arnold, let me know. Hit me up. But I hope to see all you guys at these new recent shows, and then of course more updates, more vlogs to come. Hopefully I can do one monthly or continue my trend of doing a bi-monthly vlog. But either way, set up your goals. Write some things down. Whatever you write usually kind of manifests into kind of what you're looking to do. So write some goals, attainable goals, some far-reaching goals, and also stay strong, everyone.